Hello, let's talk about how to use virtual study hall in RC Success. First, who can use virtual? It's for students who live off campus, not locally. So if you live 30 minutes or more from campus, you don't have to come to study hall in person. You can use the virtual study hall link. Students who are sick, isolated, or quarantined also have the option to use virtual. It's not for students who live on campus or a few minutes away from campus. You are expected to come to the in-person study hall. So it's not like I'm in my dorm room right now and it's raining and I really don't want to walk to study hall. That's not what virtual is for. It's only for people who physically cannot get to study hall because of distance or who are quarantined, isolated, or sick. So you have to have permission to use the virtual study hall. Before you go virtual, you have to remember you have to be in an appropriate location. So at a desk and alone. You shouldn't be driving around in a car, hanging out with your friends. You need to look studious. So it doesn't really matter where you're at as long as you're alone at a desk and it's obvious that you're working. The apps that you have to have installed are Cold Turkey for your computer and Flora or Forest for your phone. Flora and Forest are really easy apps to use. Those are self-explanatory. They plant a seed, and if you don't touch your phone for the time you tell it that you're going to be distraction free, it will grow a tree that is planted then in the world somewhere. So it's sort of a win-win. You don't have to deal with your distractions, and then the world gets a tree. Cold Turkey for your computer is a little more complicated. So it's really important that you know how that program works, and we'll explain that in more detail in a few more slides. All of this information is at our website, roanoke.edu/academic coaching. If you go there to the RC Success tab, you want to click on Program Details and then Virtual Study Hall. Everything you need to know about Virtual Study Hall is here, so if you forget any of this or you didn't write it down, just remember the website and go to the Virtual Study Hall and app link. So the Zoom link is here, our hours that were open are here. Study Hall is open the same for virtual as it is in person. So Sunday 1 p.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Friday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. All the apps that we were talking about are found right here, and you can click on those and learn more about them. Okay, so how to check into Virtual Study Hall. It is a little cumbersome at first. Once you get used to it, it's not a big deal, but you know, it's going to feel weird at first. So first you go to the Study Hall Zoom link. You have to send a private chat to the monitor asking to be checked in. So just because you went to the Zoom and they let you in through the waiting room does not mean that you're checked in. So you have to send the private chat to the monitor with your first and last name and include your study hall goals. So you would say your name and that you're going to be working on a lab report for 3 hours. You send that information to them. And then you're going to need to show them that your Flora is activated for 3 hours. You hold that up to the camera, and then they can see that your Flora is activated. Then you're going to share your screen to Cold Turkey. You're going to have to show them your blocks, exception, and your lock time. So everything has to match. If in your goals you say you're going to be there for 3 hours, your Flora or Forest apps need to match that, and then your Cold Turkey lock time needs to match. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. Just so you understand this as well, in virtual you are expected to have your camera on. So I think some of that was self-explanatory, but I want to make sure you understand that your camera should be on. When you check out, you also have to send a private chat. So again, if you just click out of the Zoom, your hours aren't going to be correct. So you need to send a private chat letting them know that you are leaving the Zoom virtual study hall. Again, you'll show them your phone to the monitor. They'll note that your tree is alive and well, and they'll let you go along your way. So let's talk about installing Cold Turkey extensions. For the most part, this is pretty easy. Once you put the app on your computer, it tells you right here extensions that need to be enabled. When you share your screen with the monitor, this is what it looks like. So if something's not enabled, this red warning is going to be there, and the monitor is going to know that you have browsers available to you. So initially when you're setting this up, it tells you what the supported browsers are and that you can go ahead and install the blocks for Chrome and Firefox. Some of these are really easy to block, but Chrome's a little more difficult. So let's talk about that. So once you click install, then it's going to ask you to add Chrome, and then it's going to take you to incognito. So this is step 3, and the first time I did this, I blew right past it, couldn't figure out why my extensions weren't blocked. So if you just say okay, you're going to blow past incognito, and then it's not going to work correctly. So you have to say allow incognito. You physically have to slide this button over till it looks like this, so it's blue, and then it's blocked. So once all your extensions are blocked, you go here to your blocks. You don't have to add a new block every time. I think it makes it complicated. It's better just to set one distraction block to keep you from causing accidents. Once you lock cold turkey, you can't get around it. You can't turn off your computer, you can't unplug it, you can't restart it. There's nothing you can do to stop the block. So it's really important that you play around with this and you understand what you're doing, especially with the timer. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So when you click on distractions, it opens up to this screen where it has your websites and website exceptions. Now, under websites you want to block, you can put the main ones that you have issues with, but we ask you to block down everything. And how you do that is you put in this little guy. So he's star, period, star. So once you put that into the websites, it will block everything. So you don't have to nitpick and put all these things in here. It's just going to lock it down. With that being said, you need website exceptions. So you click on the exceptions and you need to put in appropriate websites. So think about what you're going to need to use. Do you need access to Enquire? Do you have to have access to Contraseña to do your homework? Quizlet, Zoom. If you don't put Zoom in there, it's going to shut you out immediately and you'll be kicked out of the study hall, the virtual study hall. You need to put your email links in there. So you need to take some time playing with this and building your exceptions and what you need to access. Do you need the homepage of Roanoke available to you? So play around with it and, get an idea of what you need access to do what you need to do to be successful in study hall. So what if you need to use Netflix or YouTube for an assignment? Well, first you need to show the monitor the assignment, or else they're not going to approve if they see a Netflix opening on your exceptions. If you need to watch something specific, you go to Netflix, to that movie, to that episode, you copy that specific URL and you drop it into your exceptions. So for example, if I have to watch one episode of The Office, I go to that URL, drop it in there, and that's the only one I can access. I won't be able to go into Netflix and look at any other episodes, just the one that I'm required to watch. So you have to be specific with your exceptions if you have any exceptions to the rules on watching things. Okay. All right. So once you do that, so we've gone into distractions right here. Then we need to think about our lock. So just because you put all this in here, nothing is set until you set your timer. And so you're going to click on unlock, and it's going to open up this area for you where it has like your timers and things like that. So we want to go right here to custom date and time. It does default to the day you're on. So when I did the screenshot, it was in August. So it's going to default to the exact day you're on, and you're going to want to do a pull down here. You do need to be really careful about how you set your timers because you can block your computer up to like 48 hours. So if you're not doing this right, you can really shut down your computer for a while, and the only thing that'll happen is it times out. You can't get around it. So I would suggest you can actually just set it for a minute or 5 minutes. When you're playing with this to get used to using virtual, you want to just block it for a minute, make sure everything you need blocked is blocked and everything you need to access is available to you. And then you're going to go ahead and hit save for that day. Now, it's not done yet. So once you come out, it's still unlocked. But everything is set. All your distractions are here. This timer is here for an hour. So this is, again, what you're going to show you go through all this with the monitor. I know it seems clunky. It eventually gets faster. So when you come back out of here from your exceptions and websites, they're going to see, yes, this is how long he's going to be in study hall for an hour. It's still on off. You have to slide it over to start it. And you're going to get this. And they'll watch you click, yes, lock the block. So again, pay attention. Pay attention to how long you're locking this thing. And then once you say yes, you're clocked in. So this shows you, like, yes, it's locked for an hour, no breaks. So once cold turkey is active, you can't get to any of those websites. And this is sort of an example of what it looks like. I tried to go to roanoke.edu. I didn't have it in my exceptions, couldn't get to it. Can't get to Netflix. Wasn't in my exceptions list. So again, this is really important that you play with it and learn how to use it. You don't have to add a new block all the time. You can just go to this one and set the timer for the day, the current day that you're on. If you get too many blocks on here, it can get a little cumbersome. I mean, you could set it for specific websites. You know, like if you know you're going to go in there work on Spanish, you could have a Spanish one. You could have a lab science one. I mean, you could get specific with it if that helps you. But for most people, keeping it simple is the best way of handling it. Okay, so questions on this. If you've gone through and you still are having issues, just reach out to Shannon McNeil, the director, reach out to your academic peer mentor. The important thing is that you know how this works, that you've played with it, especially because we can't plan for being sick. You might just want to make sure you kind of have an idea of how these work. Again, cold turkey is the hardest thing to get used to using. It's a process. It's a little clunky at first for those of you who have no choice that you have to use virtual. It does get easier as you go on, and we are definitely here to help you walk through it. So if you have any questions, let Shannon McNeil know, let your academic peer mentor know, and we will help you with it.